Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast episode. This is number 13. I am so happy today. I feel like I know it's early September and the weather hasn't really changed, but I feel like this is one of my favorite times of the year because it's still warm here in England, but everything's starting to change and everything's starting to feel a little bit more autumnal. And I love the autumn so much. Not when it gets really cold, but just things like the colors and the outfits. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you just start being all cozy and warm. Yeah, anyway, that's my little ramble. Today, I'm going to be following on from last week's episode. So, I'm currently in a little mini series where I'm talking about menstruation and your cycle and your period. This is for everybody, whether you menstruate or not, because I think it's important for people who don't menstruate to understand what your body or that person is going through. So, if you know someone who's menstruating, I do think it's important to have an idea of what's going on in their body because it's a lot. I think some women cope with it better than others, but I'm starting to think that a lot of the women that cope with it better have actually done research and understand what's going on with their body. So they are kind of, yeah, more understanding of themselves. The reason I say this is because I have for many years, what, like 14, 15 years, 13 years, I've been menstruating. And I, every single cycle, every single time, I always think that there's something wrong with me, my depression's gotten worse. Why is it that one week I'm okay and the next I'm not? Why is it that I'm really unmotivated today and I don't want to get out of my dressing gown? But last week I was up, I was dressed, I was ready, let's do this. I thought it was just like something wrong with me. But the more I've researched, the more I've realized that actually I don't think it is. I think it's my cycle. And so I'm trying to kind of look at ways to hack it. But I do think one of the most important things is to learn where you are in your cycle and to learn what happens in each phase in your cycle so that you can kind of be a little bit kinder to yourself. So, in this episode, we're going to look at what menstruation is, and we're going to kind of start from day one, and we're going to look at foods that are going to help as well when you're menstruating. So, this is when your period starts to when your period ends. So, we're looking at like 1 to 3 or 1 to 7, sort of around that many days. So, yeah, let's get started. Hi, my name is Meg, and you are listening to the Wellness Musings with Meg podcast. I am a fully qualified beautician and yoga teacher who has studied and worked in health and wellness since 2017. I have been obsessed with wellness my entire life and have always wanted to share my passions more. If you love health, wellness, and yoga and want to learn more, this podcast is for you. I will be bringing you all things wellness from diet and lifestyle to beauty tips and tricks, and of course, yoga as well. So grab yourself a green tea and find a tranquil spot, and let's jump in. So we are looking at menstruation. So this can last 3 to 7 days. When your period starts, that is day one of your 28-day cycle. Bearing in mind, I'm talking about somebody who has a regular period. And yeah, if you don't, I would probably consider maybe talking to a doctor, seeing what's going on. Often, when your cycle isn't regular, there can be a medical reason behind it. So I think it's important to have a little look into that. But today we're looking at menstruation. So it's the early follicular stage, the day your period starts to when it ends. So that can be 3 days, 7 days, however long. I think if you're someone who menstruates, we've all been there. We've all know how it feels when you're on your time of the month. I know everyone will vary a little bit, but I think because there's something physically going on, you are kinder to yourself anyway. So I find personally that actually once I've started menstruating, once I've started my period, I actually feel better although I might not physically feel better, I think because I realize, oh, it's okay to be unmotivated. It's okay that I want to eat unhealthy foods. It's okay that I am tired all of the time, because there's a physical like symptom going on I can see with my eyes. So and I can feel those cramps as well. Like they're quite major symptoms going on in the body. So I think although physically I'm going through a lot, I am so much kinder to myself, and that helps me to get through it easier. So I think that is something that's really important to do. When you are on your time of the month, make sure you are really, really looking after yourself. If you don't feel motivated, that's okay. Your body is going through so much in this phase. It really is. I mean, it is. I mean, you think about it, you're bleeding continuously for like 3 days to 7 days. You can bleed continuously for a week. That's absolutely insane. It's something to marvel at. Our body is incredible, but it is a lot, and it's no wonder that we get tired. It's no wonder that we need extra calories and extra food, and we want stuff that's going to help us and comfort us because we're going through a lot. I think one thing that I've read a lot is it's important to keep warm when you're menstruating. So it's important to drink lots of warm water or warm, like green teas or fruit teas. Raspberry leaf tea is meant to be really helpful. From now I know it's from my luteal phase, but from my luteal phase all the way through until my late follicular phase, so after I finish my period, I will drink raspberry leaf tea. I swear by it. I love it. It really helps. Another thing that's meant to be really good as well, which I use a lot, or I do a lot, is I will drink ginger tea whenever I've got cramps, and I found that really helps. But some of the other things, so foods that you can supplement into this phase, I've got quite a big list here, but I think these are things that it's worth thinking of. So your vitamin D drops when you're going through your period. And so mushrooms are meant to be really helpful because they are high in vitamin D. And I've read as well that if you put the mushrooms in the sun before you cook them for about 10 minutes, it really helps to improve that vitamin D content. Whether that's true or an old wives' tale, I don't know, but I guess I can kind of see where that's coming from. You get vitamin D from the sun, so I guess if you're putting your mushrooms and they are absorbing that vitamin D, I guess I can see how that works. Kale and cacao, anything that's really high in iron is going to be helpful because obviously we're losing blood and we need to replace that or get that built back in. So iron is going to really help with that. Kale is also high in magnesium and calcium, which help. Beetroot is again high in iron and promotes blood flow to the uterus. Beetroots are really underestimated when you're on your time of the month, so it's worth incorporating them in, getting them in your salads, whatever you can do, get that beetroot in. Miso, and also blueberries, blackberries, pumpkin seed oil, buckwheat, grapes are all meant to be really helpful. Papaya and dragon fruit as well. So blueberries reduce cramps because they're high in manganese, and blackberries are high in vitamin K, which helps to kind of clot up the blood. Pumpkin seed oil helps with mood stabilization, and buckwheat is a fatty or has all 9 fatty acids in it. Grapes help to alleviate your cramps. You've also got things like chestnuts, which are high in fiber, coriander, which regulates menstruation, and kidney beans too. One other thing that I read, which I thought was fascinating, is that rose can help because it reduces your period symptoms, so cramps, anxiety, and stress. So those are a lot of foods that I've looked and or read that are meant to be really helpful in menstruation. I think at some point I'd really like to create some sort of, I don't know, cookbook or series or something where I incorporate a lot of these foods to create different recipes, yeah, for each of your phases. But let me know what you guys think. Yeah. So menstruation, that's the food for when you're in your menstruation. I can't believe how quick that episode was. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything you want me to bring into this series at all. And I look forward to talking with you about the next phase soon. Thanks. Bye.